Hello and welcome to Health Talk. I'm Dr. Manny. Sarah Boston is a veterinarian who treats dogs and cats suffering from life-threatening cancers. When she came face to face with her own diagnosis, she was shocked by the difference in care we give animals versus humans. She wrote a book about her experience called Lucky Dog: How Being a Veterinarian Saved My Life. Heck of a title, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
So I'll start with the title. How being a veterinarian saved your life?
I feel like being a veterinarian saved my life because I found a mass in my neck when I was getting ready for bed one night. I put cream on my neck every night, and I found a mass there. And I knew it was new. I knew that it was in my thyroid just because I'm a veterinary cancer surgeon. And I felt like it hadn't been there before. And I actually then went on, I rushed home, and my husband's a large animal veterinarian, and I asked him to bring home his ultrasound machine. And I actually ultrasounded my own neck. It was going to take a week and a half for me to get an ultrasound, and it was growing. And so I thought, well, no, I'm not going to wait. I just want to look and see what's going on in there.
Right. Now, that led you to sort of criticize, or at least render an opinion about the Canadian health system in general. What's that opinion? Because everybody thinks that the Canadian system is very good, or not as bad as, let's say, the U.S. But what's your opinion about that?
I think they're both deeply flawed, and I think that they could learn from each other. I'm a Canadian, and I love Canada, and I do believe in socialized medicine. And I was treated with very high quality medicine, and I'm cured now, and so I'm grateful for that. However, it was a long wait. It took 2.5 months for me to go from finding a mass in my neck to having surgery, and then another month for me to get my diagnosis. So it was 3.5 months of thinking I had cancer, but not really knowing what was going on, and that was very difficult.
You also, as a vet, you treat animals, you think that animals sometimes get better care than humans? Why is that?
I do. I was also struck by that because I found this mass in my neck. I thought, well, I'll just go into my doctor and probably have surgery in the next week or so to get this out. And it took such a long time, and I was very surprised by that because if I see a dog with thyroid cancer, they'll come in and usually have surgery within 1 or 2 days and get their diagnosis usually within a week.
Right.
And so to have to wait, I found it really frustrating that it would take so long.
Yeah, and again, I guess your medical or vet experience taught you a lot about cancer and the way they grow and their location and the spontaneity that they have many times. So that helped you a lot, right?
It absolutely helped me, but it also probably hurt me in some ways because I knew that it was bad to wait, and it let my mind sort of run away with me, which is where the writing really helped too. What
kind of advice can you give a prospective patient in that? Listen, if you find something that you never had, and you can be seen here, maybe you should do that. What do you think is the strategy to get a faster service?
That's a great question. I think the single biggest piece of advice is to listen to yourself and also to have an advocate. So there's sort of two pieces of advice in there. If you feel like something's wrong with you, don't be told you're fine, we'll watch it. And I was told that. I was told we could just wait and see, and I wasn't having it. But I'm a veterinarian who treats cancer, and I knew that was a bad idea. I think if I had been a history professor or something else, maybe I would have thought, well, I'll just go home, I'm bothering them, so bother them. I think that's the advice. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, or you don't understand the lingo, you need to find a friend or family member who can understand it and be there for you. Because also, sometimes you're just too stressed to really take it in and understand everything, and having someone there to take notes and ask questions and help you is really important.
One of the topics that I find fascinating in your book, and I guess you kind of learn it from animals, which is such a beautiful way to learn things, is dying with dignity. So give me your perspective in what you learn from animals and looking at that question of dying with dignity.
We are doctors who aid our patients in having a humane death. And I think for us, it's very second nature. If we see a patient that we know is suffering and we know that what the outcome is going to be, because that happens sometimes, you know that the cancer has spread everywhere, we're not going to be able to halt that process, we're not going to cure that patient, and really all that lies ahead of them is suffering and pain. Instead of watching them die, which I think we do in the human system, I know that we do things to aid their suffering with palliative care, but we're really just waiting for it to happen. For our patients, we can have the family present, it's painless, it's planned, and we relieve suffering. And I think sometimes that's all you can do as a doctor for your patients.
Last question. What did you learn from animals about coping with cancer?
One thing that's pretty amazing about my patients is I can have a family in a room that are all crying because their dog has cancer, and the dog's walking around wagging its tail and visiting everybody.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, you know.
I always say to them, you know, he doesn't know he has cancer, and I think we should try to live like that, live in the moment. We're all going to die. You know, sometimes you do have to find a way to find joy in your life. And there's a lot of that message in the book, because even though it's about a heavy topic, there's actually a lot of humor in there too.
Fascinating read for the summer. Lucky Dog. Being a veterinarian saved my life. I think it brings a lot of compassion and a lot of understanding, especially if you have pets, into the whole, you know, sort of cosmos of your own health and the way pets are being treated and how they deal with their diseases. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Dr. Manny.
And where can people get more information on the book?
You can either go on the House of Anansi website or Amazon.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you. And if you have any health questions, you can send them here at Fox at drmanny@foxnews.com. Until next time, I'm Dr. Manny.